On this special edition of Tap Into an Expert, we're bringing you a conversation recorded live at Shoptalk Spring in Las Vegas between Chase Binnie, CEO of RetailWire, and Eric Sheinkop, CEO and co-founder of the Desire Company. This discussion builds upon the insights shared in RetailWire's recent feature, delving deeper into the strategic shifts and innovative approaches that are shaping the future of retail. As we explore these topics, you'll gain a deeper understanding of how brands and retailers are navigating the intersection of technology, consumer behavior, and business strategy to stay ahead in an increasingly competitive market. Enjoy.
I guess just to get into it, it'd be interesting to hear a little bit about your backstory of how you got into this industry.
Sure. Yeah, so I started in the music business and was placing music into commercials, movies, TV shows, video games. We became the largest provider of music to corporations, and then I sold part of that company to Coca-Cola. And at that point, then after exiting, I wasn't able to work in the music industry because of a non-compete. So I started looking at all of the people who worked around the music industry. And I realized, like, behind Lady Gaga and Beyonce and Rihanna, I knew their nutritionists, their estheticians, their physical therapists, their trainers, their chefs, their choreographers, and realized that those are people who work incredibly hard all their life to be the absolute best in a very unique niche area. And over the years of figuring out how to create content with these people who aren't typically in front of the camera, we found retail media, which is the sweet spot of our industry right now. And that's where we're at. So it's been a long evolution of trial and error and figuring out how to make the most of the content that we were creating. And really found that brands need the content from these experts who have trained all their life in a very specific vertical. And they use all the products and test everything under the sun. So when they're talking about what a product does, how to use it, who it's recommended for, it's the best advice that you could get.
I mean, there were a lot of other places you could have tried the video, but it wasn't as valuable of a placement as
Absolutely.
Product page.
So yeah, valuable places we could place the video. So at first I was working with that, NFL players and these choreographers and all these experts and saying, what's in your bag? That's what we were doing.
What's in your bag?
What's in your bag? And
what's
they were
the gear that
out,
you use?
Yeah. What do you use on game day? What are you listening to? What do you use to stay healthy in the off season? Whatever it might be. For the choreographers who are on tour with Beyonce, what do they use when they're on tour for 18 months on the tour bus and going from hotel to hotel to stay comfortable and refreshed? And that was really cool and interesting. But there wasn't a lot of monetary opportunity in that. In the same way that we found placing that content on a product page for a retailer, there's a lot of value that we're creating. Therefore, there's a lot of value exchange.
Well, they have the audience. They have the traffic, right?
Our content is getting over 1 million views a day because it's on all of these retailers, Target, Walmart, Tractor Supply, Best Buy, and they have hundreds of thousands of viewers a day each. And then our stuff lives on connected television and social media. So you're talking about millions of people interacting with our content. It wasn't about us creating that audience. It was about us creating the right content for the audience.
A lot of people wouldn't think that that's an audience.
Right. Well, anybody who has eyeballs is a media company these days.
Yeah.
So that's the opportunity with retail media, right? Like, be it Walmart or Disney, they have people engaging on their sites, on their properties. So they're a media company and they have all the opportunities that are afforded to media companies.
And that's one thing I thought was fascinating about this creative content. You see a lot of influencers out there today, and they're making this kind of content on their own.
Yeah.
Sometimes they turn into a full-fledged, professional agency. And still, I think there's a trust factor.
Yeah.
And one of the things that when we were preparing to chat today, it was looking at how is this content driving results?
Right.
And it's a mix of results for the retailer and for the brand.
Yeah.
Where are you in that cross section?
So it's the most beautiful thing in the world because we live directly on the retailer's website and they have all that information. So they can tell immediately if we're making an impact or not. Versus social media influencers, they've got bots that are liking their content, fake comments. Their reach is nowhere close to what they say it is. And some of them aren't doing it with any bad intention. It's just that there's a lot of bots out there and bad actors in social media. With where we sit in this whole ecosystem, it's the retailer's data. We're not feeding them information and saying, here's how many impressions and here's how many clicks. They're telling us. And the most amazing thing about what we provide is you could tell day one if it's working or not. Like you have 100,000 people coming to this product page every single day. You put our video there, do your conversions go up? Yes or no? It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not throwing and testing a bunch of same things at the exact same time, and you're putting one of our pieces of content and then two of our pieces of content, you learn a lot very quickly. And that's one of the reasons why we've been able to activate with retailers so quickly.
Are you able to see the data on sales? Is that something that they share with you because you're part of the video team?
Yes, it obviously depends on the retailer.
Yeah.
Some are better at sharing data than others, but yeah, we do. And what we've seen is that when you incorporate our content onto a product page, you're going to get between a 5 to 12 times lift in sales. Not a percent, a 5 to 12 times lift, which is incredibly significant.
500%.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Right.
Now, things with an on-off switch, things with a plug, things that take a little bit more consideration, they perform even better when you put our content there because we're taking the guesswork out of it for the shopper. What we're doing is we're really providing that expert education that says, okay, let me show you how to use this product and what the results are that you could expect. Typically, somebody becomes interested in a product and then they start Googling and doing their own third-party independent research. We're putting that third-party expert review or product information directly at the point of sale. So it saves people a lot of time. It helps them buy the right products the first time. And yes, conversion goes up significantly.
Well, I know one example you mentioned DJI.
Yeah.
I was standing in Best Buy and I asked the sales associate about the mics. Sell me a mic.
Yeah.
And he kind of, well, I don't know. I mean, I literally pulled up YouTube and listened to reviews of these mics as he stood there trying to point me at little labels.
Yes.
And so it's like having an expert is such a key factor for the sale to happen. And I knew that as a shopper, I knew where to go when the salesperson couldn't answer it.
Well, the funny thing is we used to say having our content on your website is like having an expert in every aisle. Like wherever you're going, you have an expert there who's able to educate you just like being in store.
Yeah.
The problem is in store, people aren't as educated on the products as they used to be. This is a lot of people's part-time gigs, summer jobs, whatever it might be. They don't take it as seriously as, they used to. So being able to provide our content in store along with online, it makes a huge difference for somebody who really wants to understand, is this the right product for me?
Yeah.
They've got great return policies, but nobody wants to take a product and then it not be right for their intended use and then have to go back into the store and return it. We save all of that headache by just giving the shopper the right information, the expert information at the point of sale.
We noticed that influencer marketing was a big trend, and maybe it still is. I think you have a different take on this, coming from inside the industry. And that's what I was curious. Are people starting to trust these expert-led videos more than influencers? Authenticity used to be the name of the game with influencers, and now I think that's shifted because we know everyone's selling something.
Exactly, and that's the whole issue with influencer marketing, and it still works top of funnel. It still works to make people aware that a product exists. Okay. There's a couple of issues with them. One, they're not getting the engagement or the views that they used to because all of the social media platforms are suppressing content unless you pay for it, if they know there's a brand involved. And then the second is people have become aware of what influencer marketing is. And the second somebody is aware that they're being marketed to, it's less effective. Now, we've taken a very different approach, is we're being straight up as transparent as possible. On our videos, it says real experts paid to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, they are aware that this person has a monetary relationship with the product or the retailer.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more trust because they're being very open about it. And what they're doing differently than social media is they're talking about how they've used it in real life situations. Because they have to use our products for several weeks, if not months, before we allow them to do a review or a product recommendation. In social media, it's become very clear that people are taking it out of the box and reading what they're supposed to say. Our videos are not like that. Our videos are, I was given this product 3 weeks ago. I've been using it in my training sessions, or I've been using it while I've been cooking dinner. I've been using it with my child at nighttime. And here's what I think. Here's the results that you could expect. And here's who I recommend it for. It's a very different take than influencer marketing. Unfortunately, we do get pushed into that box at times, but that's changing. As people are realizing, like, okay, influencer marketing is another channel of communication. And you have, on top of that, you have your celebrity endorsements, influencers, but then there is no product that provides the expert education that we have now started providing directly when you're trying to buy a product. It's all top of funnel. We are low funnel. When you're thinking about buying it, we're going to get you over that line.
Yeah, ironically, top of funnel is where you find people, and then in the terms of e-commerce, you get to the product page, which is the lowest funnel, right? You're about to hit purchase, and there's nobody there.
Exactly. And it's
a list of features.
And it's crazy because it's like, and then everybody's like, okay, well, we have to spend more money getting more people to the site.
Yeah.
Well, if you got 100,000 people coming to your site, you want to spend, and you're getting a 2% conversion, you want to spend more money getting 120,000 people to your site? Or do you want to boost your conversion from 2% to 5%, to 10%? That's all about what's happening when people get to the site.
Yeah.
And that's why we specialize on the product, in store, online, providing that expert information, that expert education.
Yeah. It seems like retailers are adding more media to these product pages.
Yeah.
How are they tracking whether that's making the difference?
Yeah.
Are they testing between a page without your content and a page with it?
We highly recommend A/B testing. Send some people to a page without our content, send some people to a page with our content, you will see a stark difference. And yes, they're adding more and more features. We're lucky because we're not asking them to implement any new technology. We're just monetizing an existing piece of realty, a real estate on a website, which is in the product carousel for the most part above the fold. But we would highly recommend not adding multiple things at the same time. Otherwise, you're not collecting the right data. So yes, A/B testing, we love it. You see a difference immediately.
Well, then the decision's pretty clear.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We also know there's rules about reviews, and it's gotten a lot more strict on how brands represent the products.
Yes.
The FTC passed some rules last year, and that must be on your mind.
I love it personally.
Yeah.
The changes in the FTC laws are wonderful because the FTC wants the best thing for the consumer, which is just don't mislead them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's pretty simple.
Don't mislead people.
Don't mislead people.
Yeah.
And what that means is, like, you cannot cherry pick your reviews. You can't put only 5-star reviews on your site and leave out all the 2 stars and 1 stars. Either do it all or do none. And if you have any type of relationship with somebody who's promoting your product, it has to be very clear to the consumer. Otherwise, again, you're misleading them.
Yeah.
So we love the changes in the FTC rules because it 100% backs our thesis, which is give people honest information about the product, and you're going to sell more. You might not sell every single person that comes to your site because you're not tricking them into buying your product.
Yeah.
But they're going to be happier. The ones that do buy, they're going to come back time and time again. Whereas people who are who purchase off of influencer recommendations, 80+% of them have been frustrated and disappointed with the product that they bought, and they don't take it out on the influencer, they take it out on the company. So it's much better just to be totally transparent, honest, open, and you're going to get more sales.
Yeah, that's shocking. I was just thinking about the returns.
Yeah.
I think about if you're kind of tricked into, and this is the sales. I never wanted to be a salesperson because I thought it was about tricking people into buying things. Yeah. But giving honest reviews or honest.
It's just honest information.
Yeah.
It's honest education about a product. Yes, I'm interested in this. Is it right for me? Our videos are going to tell you who it's right for, what you could expect from it, and why they like it. And that's what people are looking for. That information has never really existed. Mm-hmm. The onus has always been on the shopper to find that information themselves. So they go to the product page, they can read the specs, and then they have to go to YouTube or they have to go to Google and do all their searches. By just putting that honest information right there from an expert, it's a total game changer. It's a very simple concept, but it's very effective.
Yeah. And you've navigated that pretty well, it seems.
Yeah.
Are there compliance blind spots, spaces where it's like, it's a gray area?
I think for brands, there are some tricky things to navigate with the new FTC rules.
Mm-hmm.
Silly things like...
And I don't mean to ask for legal advice here. It's just, from what you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, the brands have to deal with a lot of things. It's been an unknown if they're going to be able to use the same review on a 65-inch TV and that exact same television, but 55-inch.
Oh,
and
good point.
Do you have to have a totally different review? Luckily, the FTC, they toned that down and they were like, no, if it's the exact same product, people could use some logic to decide by themselves.
I like the white TV, not the black TV.
Exactly. But it is tricky, and they are caught off guard a lot. And now it's $53,000 per violation of a fake review or an influencer endorsement that's not clearly transparent. So brands are nervous. They're nervous about working with everybody. Obviously, everybody gets that celebrities are paid to represent a product. Anything below a celebrity, it's always been a gray area.
Yeah.
People are aware that influencers do it, but they don't totally come out and say they do it. And they might put partner in their, in a hashtag. That's not legal anymore.
Okay.
You have to say that there is a paid relationship. Either I received the product for free or I was paid to review this product. And brands have a very tough time believing that that's what's best for them. They are scared to say, yes, I paid this person to review my product.
Yeah.
But it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And it works. It's more effective.
Kind of on that same topic of giving honest reviews and education, I wanted to ask about retailers have this incentive to sell.
Yes.
Not so much incentivized to educate, right? But education is building trust, and it does lead to sales for the right buyer. I guess, what are some of the things that you recommend for retailers with their own ad networks around this topic of education?
The more you educate somebody, the more you're going to sell.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, that's what they need. And that's what's been missing from the sales ecosystem is pure product education in a relatable, engaging way that's not very text heavy. Like if I could watch a 45-second video from an expert instead of reading pages and pages or 100 reviews, it helps me make a purchase, right? So what retailers are starting to realize is the more that they educate the consumers on the products that they carry, the more sales they make, the more loyalty that they're going to have, the more people are going to actually appreciate their offering, their retail environment, especially in this age of all these AI shopping bots and every retailer's creating their own AI. To be able to have a human tell you about a product from a very informed perspective, it makes all the difference in the world with actually caring about that retailer.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation today about this, the AI bots, AI agents that might be shopping for us. And people are afraid that, well, why do we need all these visuals on an AI is going to be doing the shopping for me. Yeah. But in reality, they're going to be recommending 3 to 5 products that fit what I need. And then it's up to me to take a look at the human content.
I think that this is a place where retailers could go off the deep end in a very bad way in the next couple of years, because every retailer is creating their own AI. Shoppers now have AI shopping bots. So we're talking about AI talking to AI. And marketers have been building content for the algorithm for too long.
And for SEO.
And for SEO, and not for the shopper, and not for the experience. So are you going to start creating content for AI to skim it? Why would any retailer have any loyal customers if that was the case? Because I care about just buying everything from one location because it makes it easy. AI doesn't care. AI could go to 100 different stores and buy 100 different things. Grapes from this store, kiwi from this store. They don't care. They're just going to look for the best price, best product. So retailers have to be very careful not to go down that AI wormhole of creating content for AI. Create content for the shopper. And you're going to have a breakthrough of certain retailers who care about the shopper and that shopping experience in the consumer versus the ones who actually kind of just disappear and fade into the background and become a complete commodity.
The days of reading through bullet points of specs and features, I think the AI will probably help us just skim through that and find the ones that fit what I need and just give me the human content. Because I don't think we really want to read through specs of how many gigabytes and how many gigahertz of this is happening with these products.
And it doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, right? Like, how many gigahertz is that? I don't know. I mean, what is that? How does that help me? So hearing from somebody explaining it makes a world of difference.
With these expert-led videos, I guess what differentiates these from just adding to the noise of more content? Like, this is just, I want to shop, I want to buy something. Now I have to watch a minute-long video. Some people might just want the quickest route to purchase, but
and that's always available. You don't have to watch the video. If you want to read 50 reviews or whatever it is, that's always an option. We find this is the fastest, most effective means of communication about product education. And the way that we started this type of content is by studying the lower part of the funnel. Nobody needs any other content for awareness. That's what marketing has been, right?
That's the overload.
That's the overload.
I love that you differentiate this because it's not just content overload. It's top of funnel content overload.
Yes. And this is where people have been confused. They're like, well, we need content, or we already have a content provider. It's like, all content is not the same. All content is not created equal, nor does it do the same or have the same effect for your shoppers. So we concentrated first on what does the consumer need to see when they're considering buying a product. And then all of our content is built around that scientific approach. And we really have gone into neuroscience-backed formulas to get to where we are today. So it's not a content overload that we're worried about. It is making sure that the customer actually sees the right content at the right time. And retail media, they always say it's the right message in front of the right customer at the right time. Well, where's that right message coming from? What they actually have the ability to do is put a message in front of the right customer at the right time, and we're helping them actually get the right message across to that shopper.
I'm just actually curious on this. I didn't really plan to ask you, but some of the insights that go into these videos, I would think asking an in-person salesperson, but do you have those to rely on? It's like the old days of the department store where there is that expert in that department. But do we have those anymore? Or is this like, do you have to kind of simulate that?
Well, what we find, we certainly do. And there are certain retailers who ask us to work with their store associates. What we want to do is we want to work with the store associates to educate our experts if they don't have all the in-depth knowledge of it. But the consumer actually is more interested in hearing from a real person. Also, because we're not using celebrities, we're using the people behind the celebrities. They're much more relatable. So yes, they're, Beyonce's hairstylist, but you don't know who they are. They
Yeah.
come across like a normal, everyday person who's just worked incredibly hard to rise to the top and become a celebrity's hairstylist. So when you hear it from them, and they're not going to try anything on a client's hair that they haven't tried and fully trust.
Yeah.
So if they're actually reviewing it, they're talking about it, and they say, I like this product because of X, Y, or Z, makes a world of difference in the consumer's mind.
It's not the celebrity, because we all know they can be pay to play.
Yes.
It's the expert who has worked hard to get working with celebrities.
You can't mess
probably
up.
they have a lot to lose if they give a fake review.
That's exactly right. They have their integrity. They don't do this for a living.
Integrity. Yeah.
They don't. A lot of our people don't have social media at all.
So this isn't their full-time thing.
Not at all.
They're not just like an actor for these videos.
No, not at all. We
Okay.
have NASA astronauts. We have veterinarians. We have podiatrists. Like legitimately, we have every type of profession, 150 different types of professions. And these are people who are not going to risk their reputation, their job, to make a little bit of money talking about a product that they don't believe in.
Mm-hmm.
They get really excited to talk about products that they love. We do absolutely have an occasional time where somebody said, I've tested this product, I've used it, I can't really stand behind it. Great, we appreciate that. We actually have them fill out a form talking about what could be better, what didn't they like.
Yeah.
We give that. Oftentimes we will be able to find the right professional. And I'll give a real life example. We had a hairstylist that was testing a coloring agent.
Yeah.
And a lot of hairstylists, they were saying like, no, I can't recommend it because the results are a little funky.
Yeah.
And then one hairstylist, hair expert, he was like, you know what? I actually love this. It's not for everybody though.
Yeah.
But if this is the type of hair you have and these are the results that you're looking for, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And here's why. And sales go up.
That's a great video.
Yeah. Just by saying it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But here's who it's for.
Yeah.
I mean, the trust that you earn as a brand by providing that type of information is, next to none.
Yeah. I think people are afraid to say like, this isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
Because you want to sell to everybody. You want more sales.
Exactly.
But it may not be the sales you want.
And try telling a brand who's paying us that our guy is going to say your product is not for everybody. They don't want to hear that.
No.
So this is an education on our behalf too, that this actually does a lot more good than harm for your brand.
Who is more hesitant? Is it the retailer or the brand?
The brand.
The brand.
The brand.
Okay.
The brand wants to think that they make a product for everybody under the sun, and they don't. And finding the right person who's genuinely your loyal consumer, that's where brands need to focus.
Do you have any retailers are doing this really well?
I think Best Buy does a phenomenal job of providing all types of information about a product, like from the awareness, driving people to the product page, and then giving our expert content at the point of sale, even post-purchase as well. Tractor Supply is another great one that they're providing very detailed educational videos. We partner with them to provide these reviews, recommendations, and by having that on their site, it's a totally different experience than anybody else in the space. So a lot of big name retailers are getting into content, but again, it is making sure that they understand the content that's going to be the most valuable to provide at what point in the funnel. And that's where the education still needs to get out into the market.
You know who comes to mind? The Food Network.
Yep.
HGTV.
Yep.
And these are shows and series
Yep.
that often there's some products in there, and but it's built on a story and built on experts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our head of production, he actually comes from the Food Network. That's where we hired him from. And it's, because somebody's not going to get on the Food Network and show how to make their famous recipe with a product that they don't believe in.
Yeah.
So it's that whole idea of like, let them talk about what they actually use.
Yeah.
If they don't like it, don't put it in their hands. Don't ask them to talk about it. If they like it, they're going to talk about it like they love it, because they do. And it helps them achieve their goals.
What are the odds? I just thought of the Food Network.
Yeah. No.
You're hiring people from those shows.
Yeah.
So. I feel like a lot of the things we've covered, I had a few other questions, but we've covered some of them.
Yeah.
How to make it authentic, and we've just hammered on that that's the name of it from the beginning. Like all this has been about being authentic and transparent, like even to the point of these are paid to be honest.
Yes.
Right. So it's, you know, it's an above the table kind of thing.
Yeah.
Consumers will see it and see this is someone who's paid, but there's reasons to believe them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the reasons to believe, right? Like if you're going to, it could be a small purchase or a large purchase, you still want to believe that you're buying a good product. So providing those reasons to believe and staying true to them, making sure that the experience the consumer has is the same as the one that they were advertised.
Yeah.
You know, that's always been challenging for brands to do. So by just having that transparent, authentic communication from a third party, they get there a lot faster.
Yeah. I don't know. Was there anything else about the regulations of getting ahead of them and making sure they're, I could ask it, but it's not a very fun subject.
No, I think like the thing with the FTC is like, they just want what's best for shoppers.
Yeah.
Don't mislead them. I think it's the most clean message in the world. Now they have to put rules around it and fines around it because people still want to mislead people to buy more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
But that's not good for anybody, including the brand at the end of the day. So the work the FTC is doing is incredibly helpful for the future of commerce. Right? Like if you could get people just to be more honest about the product and who's the right person to buy your product, there's going to be more longevity in the industry overall.
I did see that they went after a software company that basically helps you hide reviews and filter reviews, and like it's an easy one to go after because it's like, okay, stop helping people break this rule.
Well, it's actually very interesting. Like Amazon, Google, the day after all these rules went into place, they had to sue a bunch of their vendors. They don't want to do that, but they don't want to be responsible for having a platform that provides fake reviews. If they found out, I mean, there was 50,000 Facebook groups that were shut down that were selling fake 1-star and 5-star reviews. You know, the 1-star reviews are just as dangerous, if not more, because they will push a good product out of the algorithm, and then that product won't even show up in a search anymore.
Yeah, it's like black hat strategies.
Yeah, so if you got somebody knocking off a brand, they buy a bunch of fake reviews against your original product, then you're going to be the only thing that rises.
Yeah.
And so they need to take action, and you know, it is these bigger platforms that obviously are going to be the first ones that are hit. But it is going to absolutely trickle down because the big platforms are going to have to come after the little guys and say, like, guys, please stop. So it's a good thing overall.
Yeah. Well, this has been so fascinating to see that you found this niche for content and understanding the different levels, which I think a lot of marketers know. They know this, and we study this, top of funnel, mid of funnel, you know, tofu, bofu, right? But finding that this product page is the bottom of funnel. And for some reason, it's just gotten missed because going viral on social seems to be, you hear those stories.
Yeah.
Oh, it went viral and then millions of sales.
Yes.
What was missing, you know? And that could be just an anomaly.
Well, and that will continue to work, but it's not a good strategy for somebody to say, you know, I'm just going to have my product go viral.
Yeah, we're just going to go viral. Like, we'll just take this one viral and then that one. And some of these are everyday household items. So it's not like, you know, the new blender is that viral and crazy.
It's totally unpredictable is the issue.
Yeah.
You never know why something's going to go viral. It could be whoever was in the background of that video. But then, you know, actually this just happened this week. That influencer who talked about his insane morning routine, like getting up at 3:30 in the morning and all this. But he talked about like liking this one water. 1,900% increase in Google searches for that water.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with the video.
Yeah.
But he just mentioned it, and it became the video was a laughing stock on social media. But you know, people were curious about the water. Yeah. So you can never plan something like that.
Just do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Find another, anomaly that hits at the right time with the right cultural trend.
Right. You have to be much more thoughtful about the consistency of content. Like, it's not going to go viral because you want it to go viral. You can't trick people anymore. Again, the algorithms are suppressing all types of content if they think there's any brand relationship because they want to be paid to amplify it.
Yeah.
So you have to have a more consistent strategy when it comes to deployment of content.
It sounds to me like an opportunity for retailers to build a brand and build a face.
Yeah.
When the trend is, with all of the bigger ones, they are opening up to marketplace concepts where they're letting everything into their stores.
Right.
Building some consistent, right, with this video content, building some consistency as a retailer.
Yeah.
To be different than the other retailer.
And that's why our logo is on all of our videos. So it doesn't matter what retailer it's on. If our video lives there, you're going to see our watermark on it because that's the sign to the consumer, like, oh, okay, this is a trusted third-party expert. This does not come from the brand. This does not come from the retailer. Yes, there is a monetary arrangement here, but learning that these are all trusted third-party experts giving real, authentic, transparent feedback about products makes a totally different experience for the consumer. And it is the right time to do it as all of these retailers are, as you said, opening up to third-party marketplaces. Crap floods them immediately, and it's not a pleasant experience for the consumer. So focusing some of your efforts on how do you continue to create the best experience for the shopper is very important, and it's something that has been missed over the years.
Yeah, keeping that quality up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be interested to dive into some numbers.
Yeah.
Chat again and go into some of these examples because this is fascinating.
Yeah, I could tell you that when you put one of our videos on a PDP, people spend 62% more time on that PDP, and they're doing it because they're learning everything that they want to know about the product by watching this video. So again, instead of jumping and going to Google or YouTube to watch reviews or looking at competitive products or going to a different retailer, you're getting all the information right there at the point of sale. 62% more time on site, 25% average order value increase, 33% average order basket size, and 5 to 12x lift.
Well, you've got it down.
Yeah,
I mean,
I live and breathe
to
this.
be a creative, to come from the creative side and then to know the numbers. That's the merging of the two worlds.
You have to. I mean, marketing, people will stop spending if you cannot show numbers.
Yeah.
And, they always said, well, 50% of your marketing works. You don't know which 50%. It's not true anymore.
Yep.
Like, they can measure everything.
Yep.
Everything is tracked.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's a great time for the e-commerce world.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate
Love
it.
I'm sure our viewers will love it too.
Cool.